there's this saying from Dr. Sean Young that I like, which is small steps beat big dreams. So I feel like, going back to what you were saying about Gary Vaynerchuk and when we started is a lot of people start with the big dream of, I want to start a podcast. It has to look as crisp as it can. That was us. We started the podcast with a 3-camera setup, a whole bunch of things that made it impossible for us. And not to mention 11 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Which made it impossible for us to actually publish. When we look at the model, right? Imagine you have a y-axis and x-axis, right?
We can put it here.
Yeah, we're going to put a little graph.
Or here.
But if you're just listening and you are not watching here, imagine you have one line, one vertical line, which is your motivation. And it goes from low at the bottom to very high at the top. And then at the bottom, horizontally, you have a perpendicular line to it. That is your ability, right? Your skills. And it goes from very hard to do, right? So low motivation and hard to do are connecting on that corner. And then at the very end is easy to do. So again, you have motivation and then you have your ability. Those are like the two things that we're taking into consideration for this. And then in the middle falls like what we call the action line. And you want to fall in the quadrant where you have high motivation and it's something that is easy for you to do. Because when you have high motivation and it's something that really doesn't require too much processing and bandwidth, you will probably do it, right? So, but if something like what we're trying to do, 3 cameras, then we had to edit, we have to plan the episodes. That is very difficult, right? There's a lot of skills that go into that. Not only that, we were doing it at 11 at night, which our motivation is, naturally very, very low late at night. I would argue that that's most people. So we have literally the other spectrum of that quadrant, which is at the very corner where, low motivation meets very hard to do skill set. So we were doing that for a podcast and we struggle and we never published one of those episodes. Now, fast forward to when we did the live, it was at the total opposite end of that quadrant, which is we were doing it when we were feeling the most motivated. My brother might have a different time that I was doing it, right? Because that's when we felt different motivations. But the ability, the skill was going live, which doesn't really take too much ability. I would say the one challenge there was just the mental ability, because I do think it's kind of like a skill to remove yourself, detach yourself from the what are others going to think about me if I put myself out there, right? So I think that was the hardest part of that.
Yeah.
But again, we decreased the friction so much that it was so easy to be on the right side of that action line and then just publish it.